early waters here. At least we're working towards the ult for Roxy. I just want to see what tempo they come in with. Chihuahua already exploring towards short. Does need to be cautious here. There is a time limit on how long he can stick around, and there it is. So he's decided it's just ticked over that marker, and it does look like there's that adjustment from Alive. Someone that we do want to keep our eyes on is how this man plays. Going to be taking a tricky fight now with that Aldrome coming in. Don't think he got noted. Luckily for him, Chihuahua removed the Aldrome, so that gives Alive a little bit more freedom here.
And that's a terrifying prospect. Again, though, mid is not really being pressured by Cassie. They're really looking for these almost straightforward takes with a lurk around the map, and by the looks of it, Mo is more than aware of the potential of that.
Yeah, it's all about timing. How long does he hold this? Down to about 38 seconds now. And there it is. Forced from the angle, but at least going to try and deny them any quick springboard off the back, but he has been noted. Revealed on the site. The wall comes in, but it's Roxy with the spam. Good start. And that's the site open. Keep in mind, everyone was sitting further back. Paddytech will have shot. Pretty Ambi gone. Spike now planted. A little isolated on the site here. 2 towards B main, 2 on the site itself.
Been able to take some space back, but it is that B main presence that they really have to clear. Utility-wise, still have themselves a couple of flashbangs and the paranoia. I think that's the main focus if they can actually get back in, but instead, they're actually just going to smoke it off.
Ooh, this is risky. This is super risky, and Alive saved them, at least for one. Now it's down to one, full in a 1v2. Playing towards the stairs here. Foxy surely got an inclination about this. Held it long enough, waited patiently, and gets the job done. But that felt precarious, Tom. Those 2 players towards main just hoping that no one would swing that smoke on a really good timing. That got a little dangerous to me there, but it works out well for XL in the end.
I think the danger with this composition, at least, is that flash-wise, Casse have nothing. They have the one paranoia. We see them use that, they get into the site, and then you get smoked off. It's like, okay, what do I do from here? I don't have a pot flash. I don't even have really any utility that could get me out of this position, and so they have to run through it dry. If you're running through it dry into someone like Alive, good luck to you. Good luck to you, because it doesn't seem like he's been missing much of a beat so far.
No, he's one of the players to keep your eyes on for sure. And this is the exciting thing. It's like you kind of get to see who these players are building up their careers, because as said, the turnover rate in pros is pretty high. And speaking of high tempo from Ambi, just going to be leading the way in, but the spam's good. Popping the ult early, we noted that was already being worked towards by Roxy. Catches Paddytech. Tree looking a little bit more vulnerable, but Foxy's position, he's going to spam away, but doesn't get much for it. So spike down. Casse, lovely side take so far.
Yeah, and there's not really much to get back in with, at least in terms of ultimates. So you've still got a fair amount of utility because of how fast the take was. Paranoia already through, but it's going to wear off before they can actually get in towards the site. And with nobody really facing on the other side, there's still a hell of a lot for XL to do.
Just going to wall off hell. Screw it. Now they have broken through in at least a couple of portions. That shot was filthy. Need a little bit more, though. Chihuahua not going to have enough in the tank for it. And Foxy, the last one alive. This is really nice work from Casse. Finally getting some big control here. That burst potential is huge. And again, just finding those first couple of picks worked out well. Yes, a little off the back of Roxy for sure. Can't find it every round, but they are building up that ult progress as well. 3 more just coming through.
I think this is one of the most direct attack sides I've ever seen from a roster. Like, most teams will fight for mid, like at least play around it, try and go for short splits, leave lurks behind. This round, they just ran into the site, and I don't feel like XL were particularly prepared for that. You see the ult of the Hunter's Fury getting them the opener, and from that point onwards, there wasn't really much for XL to play with. Now, ults are starting to build up. That includes the lockdown, at least being able to give them that little bit of extra space. The problem, Lauren, though, is just financially, XL are in the bin.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes, they've been to Poundland and walked out with some sheriffs. It's not great, but they do have the ult from Alive, so I want to see if he can maybe position himself well. And you noted it before, they haven't paid much mind to mid. This is the first time we're actually seeing them explore that a little bit, but speaking of, Alive going walkabouts, that's a shot. Finds Ambi, just a pixel out of place. That's already a really big pick to get. You know, the tip of the spear now a little duller than before. But Casse were exploring mid, but not really getting much of a fight for it. And if they are going to be this one-dimensional on these site hits, there's going to be more of this from Alive.
He's playing the smoke with an operator. Like,
it's a shotgun. What do you mean?
It's so ridiculous. They do have the res, so the main danger has been diminished. He's almost baiting this drone, though. There's still a player hiding in towards Wine, but eventually they have to fall off, and the problem now is they've basically just wasted 35 seconds, and now they have to run into the other side fairly blind.
And they haven't pulled rotations. There's still 2 players here from Excel investing the ult here. This is great work from them. 25 seconds, just going to try and buy time. Get the rotations in and out alive to do damage, which is exactly what he's doing. The ult coming through has set them up so well. All the information they need. And this is now worrying times. Kase under pressure, and they fall foul to it. Excel, great work, but alive. What a way to kind of corral everyone forward. Even the ult coming in on that B site, no over rotations. Tom, that was a really good round from Excel.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this is just coming down to the fact that Kase aren't really taking any map control. I said they basically had to run into that final site blind, and I don't think it's been particularly difficult for Excel to get a read on what they're doing. Like, you send Alive towards A-Long for a very good reason, because they've been A-Long in a lot of rounds.
Just watching this back, everything had been noted. There's no getting away from it. Yuri, there was nothing left to do at that point, right? It's like, just try the best you can, but right back into the round. And we have to... The worry of how Kase are approaching this will become apparent if they don't have that next layer, right? If they can't identify, like, oh, okay, what do we need to do about this? Obviously, they've got firepower of plenty, that's no question. But it's a classic Chihuahua rolling it back. Always beautiful to see. Reply found, though. That's mid open.
Yeah, I don't know how 4 won that with just a ghost, but, you know, he's got a rifle. I also really love the fact that I was looking at that TP back from Foxy. I'm like, oh, he's dead, and Chihuahua is just stood on the angle because they were ready to kill him. It's just smart interplay. Yuri, though, has a solid read, and this fight's getting a little awkward, but he gets both kills.
They've created such an opportunity here. The TP taken, going to get fast to the side, trying to deny Chihuahua getting here too early, and actually gives away position fast enough. But Chihuahua's now noted that, well, there's only going to be 1 on there. Ain't no spike here just yet. He's actually slipped the net a little. Do they have any idea that he could be on stairs? That's the question in my mind. They look a little cautious, but maybe not cautious enough. 3 for Chihuahua keeps at least a chance in this. But bear in mind, Kase had very little into this round, and they made something out of it. And now a 2v1.
Paranoia through almost straight away, but nobody close. In fact, both players sticking on the same angle. A chance for a fight to be had, but he's almost just going for a few spam shots. But look at this, it's just nasty. No way you get past that, ever.
Wow. Again, even this round, so much potential for 1 pick in middle, really. Like, Alive goes down and the round just goes to all hell. Credit where it's due to Kase. These guys have got such explosive potential in this. Like, watching this one back again, you tell me this round starts this way and you're like, okay, well, of course then Kase is going to convert it. But this work from Yuri, predicting, expecting that over, I guess, extension on the extremity a little. But again, brilliant work from Joe to bring it back from what felt like an unwinnable scenario.
Yeah, I almost feel, though, that this round was lost based on a little bit of disrespect from XL. Like, I don't know if you noted, but Chihuahua actually has a res there. So he could have just gone, turned into a 3v3, they fight it back together, but he went, nah, I'm going to take this alone. And it's the same with the double peek up mid. It's like, you already have an advantage. It wasn't really necessary, is the way I'd put it.
Well, let's close the scoreline up. Even closer now, 4-3. If you're just tuning in, this is the Valorant Regional League, so always good to check out some of these players. If you had watched early Valorant, you'll certainly note some of them, especially on the left-hand side there for Excel, but some real talent for Kase, but work cut out here on Ascent. This was Kase's map choice. Keep that in mind. Following this will be Haven, which is Excel's. And this time we do start to see them at least toying with that idea of pressuring mid, Tom.
Yeah, they've taken the control, but again, it's almost this time being used as a bit of a ruse because there's not really anybody able to lock it down. You've only got the Headhunter available for Alive, but they have actually stacked up, what, 4 players now into this site. They have a very good setup here.
And they're none the wiser. XL have the perfect positioning on this. Ambi not going to quite find the place they went with the knives. Oh, with the fadeaway. And Yuri left in the 1v4. Almost catching Alive there as the smoke dissipated, but going to be marked. And he has 10 seconds to do something with this. That's a shot. Foxy deleted. 3 more to go, 8 seconds. And the flank's on the way. That's unfair, Panitek. That's unfair. Give him a chance. All right, 5 now for XL, just kind of righting the ship, it feels. Afterwards, as said, maybe a little bit of a sloppy round there, but of disrespect almost, overconfidence potentially. But 5-3, there's still going to be a buy, but it won't be a great purchase. I want to see what Kase go for in this round coming up.
Get out of my way.
I'm wondering if they'll ever use the lockdown. This is a fun game that I always like to play when you're a killjoy on the attacker side, because at least nowadays, and especially with the composition they're up against, there's always going to be something that could destroy that lockdown, be it re-aggression or be it just Patatech with his utility. So not seeing it utilized for an entire half actually does happen quite commonly until they just throw it in at the end. But in a buy like this, get some space. And I think one of the highlights we really have to make at the moment is Ambi has been off to an incredibly slow start. Like, it is not performing at the moment on the jet, which can be tough when you're the tip of the spear, but they need more from him.
They do. You can see the crunch going towards 8. You are going to see Alive trying to hold towards short, but vision already depleted. Can't do much about it. Speaking of Ambi, though, he has at least found one, but really great effective trades. Panitek with the shaky aim, but it still connects. Roxy's gone down, now 4 with it all to do. Rifle recovered and 3 to go.
Cover going up.
Spike to hand. Live on the other side of this, well aware of intentions. Has got the support from Chihuahua up towards heaven as well. The Spam just going to confirm his presence is still in this area.
It's another scenario where you almost just look at it and go, what on earth are you going to be able to do here? If the ult was online, maybe there was a chance, but with a 2-player crossfire, the potential just to swing back out, and they're not giving him anything. And they also have mid-lockdown as well from Mo, just making sure that he'd have to pretty much run around the entirety of the map. And well, it's going to be too easy for XL to clean up in the end. And I think it's another round where we're just seeing very, very quick rotations from XL because of the fact that I don't think Kase have been that hard to read. I think they've been so direct that it almost just became a little obvious.
Yeah. Again, tricky considering the agents they've come in with, and also just the approach that they're playing. And you can watch this one back, but credit to Panitek for this round. So much damage and full on just Kiebi aim there. Straight up shaking all over the place, but it works. So XL now 6-3. Carving out a lead for themselves. It wasn't a particularly perfect purchase from Kase, but this is the buy they've been waiting for. So again, Panitek reading this well. Similar scenes as before. Mo tucked in towards the logs and now waiting. Surely going to get checked here. They're going to get one with him, forcing Panitek to be isolated, and good trades from Kase can at least open up the site's potential. Now there is Foxy at the back of the site. And this now becomes an issue because rotations are on the way and the flanks on the way, but Foxy is now noted. There's the lockdown. We'll find a way to see if it comes in. There you go, Tom.
It's only taken 10 rounds, but it is going to make things a little bit more awkward. It actually forces him into an opponent as well. Alive just sat out the back, and well, financially the team are not in the greatest of spots, so going for this, we'll see.
Give me some of that sweet, sweet Jame time. There it is.
I love how you still reference that. You still call it Jame time.
Look, someone has shaky aim, Kiebi aim. Someone goes for Farai peak, Centaurus peak. All right, that's all it is, Tom. That's all it is. I'm a simple
You're carrying
creature.
it over. If any of those players move over as well, it would just be amazing. Like, you'll have set it up perfectly.
Look, I'm playing the long con here. You know what I mean? But no, again, it's just, I'm happy to see good competition even at this level. Like, coming off the back of, I mein, we were just at what, Masters, right? So you see the absolute highest tier gameplay possible. Coming in here, still a really solid caliber. I think a lot of teams were kind of discussing while at the event. I had the chance to speak to a few that, even practice-wise, EMEA provides some of the best practice you can get. Because they don't all play one style, you get a real kind of good melting pot of styles coming through. So nice to see the talent kind of, trickling down here, and you get to see all aspects of this. But again, got a little dicey there. Got a little bit worried.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Well, it's like, I feel like some of the fundamental stuff from Kase, like the trading has been pretty decent. I feel like their actual setups have been quite good. Like, I think it's Roxy on the Sova, the amount of darts I'm seeing ping multiple players, it's been solid. It's just some sloppy mistakes, like not checking certain corners. It's like, in this round, they didn't get punished for it, which is great. They even adapt to throwing the lockdown just to make sure that player can't do anything at the back of the site. But those are sort of moments where I think versus, or even just versus XL in a different round, you're going to get slammed if you do that. So a little bit worrying, but they get through it, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, For me, it's just way too with bated breath because it's quite hard to characterize Kase so far because they're still relatively new to my eyes, right? This is the first eye test we really get with them. So is there a matter of consistency? How good is this going to be when we flip sides? Does it still hold true to this? Will they still be able to keep a relatively close scoreline? Again, it's just if I don't see Fade, if I don't see Chamber, I do get a little anxious, right? Because I feel like we've seen how damn good they are. If FPX won so much, and I'd say they have some arguably the best players on those agents in my mind. You put Xiao, you put Artis out there on, you know, these two. I'm thinking, well, how can you go without it? But again, not everyone is going to play it to that caliber. But I just, again, I'm so weirded out by not seeing it. But what I will be seeing is another ult come through. Doesn't get the value it did before. Last time, granted them that first pick. Doesn't get it this time. You know, Live may have copped a little bit of damage, but again, still perfectly fine. Could become a glass cannon if he has to. But losing out on Ambi on those first couple of steps here, Tom, that's going to put them at such a disadvantage. And the correct reads, and we know there's no over-rotation from XL. They stay planted on these sites because we know that Kase re-explore mid. They go for those bursts through market. A couple of bits of utility, still going to give away the game here. So Kase not getting away with too much. Just pulling attention. They may double dip back down towards this A site, but we are seeing that late round exploration. Patty going walkabouts here. Plenty of flashes. The knife's still there. Everything to play with. And if he goes for this dry, that would be a little bit of a shame. And Lost seems like that's the case. Still gets away with it. Still gets away with it.
I'm not sure I necessarily agree with the peak, but hey, it works out for them. And well, now, don't do it. Like getting part, there we go. I think he's got a drone available. That's at least something. You're also seeing a fake being thrown on the other side, and now Yuri has taken that space back. Wall down, but Chihuahua has just destroyed Wolfen. They've even got a res available to bring back the player up in heaven.
Roxy's position could be huge. Patty's aware of it. No, I just lost that capability. I really thought if he hit that timing right, that could have been perfect. Do a little bit of damage to give Yuri a chance, but I like this almost aggressive peek, but Foxy's fine for it. There was a couple of moments there where it got dicey, but somehow it's still 4 standing. It felt like they got way closer in that round, but again, only alive going down. The Fuse going to come in once they've just got everything they need, but this is now 7 for XL.
I really love the adaptations in this round. So if you watch how they actually use their trap in mid, the second that trap is broken, they wall B main. You also have a live go back to watch towards the spawn with the operator, and then that's where you have that aggressive push come through for Paditech. It's all like one tiny piece of utility instantly has responses from XL. Now those are sort of like setups that I expect to see from the very, very best. Like a tiny little piece of information is enough for you to completely mold the way you play the round. And as said, like because they've either been pressured really fast or they have those reactive plays, they've been able to use their utility fantastically.
And here we go. That's a lot of information found and alive here as well. Going to take that space to investment of the utility off the back, and you are seeing a proactive push out on the A site as well. XL going to try and make this map feel real small for Kase. So they have to break through here, invest a lot of utility potentially with no confirmation they're behind this. Patitech on the other side. Foxy there as well. First frag found. And Foxy actually got another. Oh, and Patitech did not fall back at all. Just slightly further away. Underhand flash and buys the time. Pops the ult. And options are dwindling for Kase here. Ambient full. What can you do with this? Already 3 players pretty much present on the site. No one overfacing. Making them work for it. And Ambi's options are dire.
I have the spike. Cover going out.
I'm not sure how. Again, we're actually just going to go TPing into the smoke. This is a bold play to try and make for fall. And it seems like they're aware of it. Paditech is just going to execute him and Ambi while no escape. An 8-4 half. I think about what we expected in all honesty. And the Warriors, Valorant, is whenever I see this like composition that we currently have for XL, it's normally pretty good on the attack.
It's good on both sides in my mind. You know, before we talk about which comps really suited defensive sides, I feel like this could be applied both ways here so far. But again, I would say though, Kase's on paper is still one of those that does sit quite nicely on the defending side. I want to see how that Killjoy looks, for example. Does it sit well with them? Is that something we can see becoming activated further? But as it stands, I think kind of touching base on maybe some of our expectations at the start of this. Alive looking hot to trot, like what he's doing. Chihuahua, we still know that guy's got firepower aplenty. Everyone's doing their job, I feel, on the XL side. On the other side of things, it's kind of I've got to say, Ambi, I want to see them activate throughout the series, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to run that jet, you got to be kind of leading the pack on this one. So I do want to see more from that. But everyone else, I'm kind of enjoying watching. I mean, Roxy's pretty decent at this. Wolford's looking pretty good. Like, everyone's kind of pulling their weight in this. And for now, this is just all up short. There's no wildness to this. It's quite simplistic, and there's a wall in their way.
Wall in the pistol round is always the worst, and the adaptation coming through from the other side. Three players pushing in, and the fact is now XL completely surrounded.
Yeah, this is actually really decent from Kase. This is good. They've got them locked in. They're trying to break their way out, maybe wrap around towards CT, and none the wiser. Mo gets caught off guard. And XL have somehow slipped the net. Wall goes up, and they've got a 2v1 technically towards the site. Okay. Now, one of them is going to have to go hero mode. Not going to happen. Wolfen with a banger of a shot. Panitek just gets deleted out of the server. Chihuahua out, 1v5. Don't think it's going to work, and it doesn't. Kase, some of these shots they are hitting are filthy.
Yeah, it's squeaky clean as well. Like, they get caught a little bit early with some of the utility throwing, but there's a part of me that wonders if that was intentional, just to almost sell the fact that there was only one player in mid. The short push, they had the wall ready to delay, and then the rest of the teammates actually flanking in through mid at the end. I think it's a really well-called pistol round, and it seems like XL fell perfectly into the trap they set.
That's really nice. Oh, we got a force?
Confidence.
I mean, we don't see these often, right? Again, our expectations have been be it either marred or changed by watching Masters a couple of days ago, right? So it's just like, didn't get to see many of these. The force back in. The difference, negligible, really. It's the light armor against heavy armor and a bit of utility. So this could be a fight and a half. They may not be aware of it. There's already Chihuahua. What is going on there? Just spins around on a dime. And there's the worst surprise of Kase's life. They're now down to 3, and they're like, wait, they've also got Spectres. Don't love that for us.
Does Patatek just play like insanely high sense, or does he have one of those like boost buttons that it just allows him to spin? Because I've never seen anyone spin that quickly. Either that, or he's managed to swipe his entire desk mouse mat in the space of a second. But either way,
it feels like a DPI button hit at that point. You know what I mean? Like that ain't right. Ooh,
okay.
Kase taking back space, getting proactive in a late round is so risky when you know that they've bought up as well. Just body checking the headhunter, no problem. This is good work from Kase. I can't stress it enough. Now XL, this could be rough for them, right? Like, they forced on this round. They need results, and they've lost so much control here.
30
now,
seconds left.
Couple of smoke. A smoke for Foxy still to play with. They know that main was compromised. Investment of utility. Nothing really found for it, but they know they've got a good inclination they're there. But how do they deal with it? This post-plant becomes really, really claustrophobic, hard to play out of. Ambi, yes, tagged up a little bit, but the chip damage would be more than enough. Foxy's only on 24. This is still a really hard round coming in for XL if they want to try and claw this back, but Kase not out of the woods just yet.
This is a ratty little angle, but it's been given away.
Beautiful.
The dart catching and Wild Mo, yeah, not going to happen. Good trading again from Kase, so... It's not going to work out fantastically. The question is, Lauren, do they do it again? Should we just force again? Like, get some rifles on the board. They got another plant, a few kills.
Like, full-on LDLC, Fnatic
Risk
era,
it.
just
yeah.
full force.
Yeah, go on.
Force all the way, baby. It's risky, man. It's so risky to do it. I kind of like seeing it, but, man, you're playing with just balls of steel at that point, right? It's just like, it's fine. It's fine. Just click on the heads. We'll be fine. Kase, though, meeting this challenge, right? Like, by all accounts, they've met this challenge, that late round aggression coming out. They're not playing like they are down rounds at all. And this buy, well, it's going to be the hero rifle unalive, and that's about it. So it's Sheriff's and light armor. It's not absolutely out of their minds. Close, but not completely. And I don't know how much information Ambi got then. I don't know if he got any, actually. Not sure.
Oh. For now, at least, it seems like they've just left alive almost as a lurk, which, considering he's playing the hero rifle, I'm not too sure about. I always like to have the option for somebody else to pick it up. I guess they really do just have so much faith in this man. The same can be said on the other side, though, with Wolfen. It is literally just his setup that currently defends the B site. A lot of opportunity to maybe take that space away, although Roxy does have a fairly quick rotation back.
Okay, so Alive going to start working on middle, and there is no utility in the way, right? Nothing there to stop him doing this. Now, the turret going to take contact. That's now been removed. Roxy towards CT. Ooh. And the shot was lined up. XL had already taken that control. We still have to see that rifle in play. They're holding down Market right now. All towards the side. They're going to know at least one towards it. That's going to be now Wolfen in a bit of danger here. Has so little to play with. Has to just try and buy time. Players life 25 seconds now. The clock is running low and they still haven't cleared Wolfen. Finally gets away from the ult and the overstep from Alive. I kind of love it. The push towards CT. Oh, Wolfen! What is that? What was that third kill?
Oh!
I did. Wow. Closing on Ambi? So what was this round? What was this round?
I don't know. That was
play it back.
That was ridiculous. You got Alive with the hella aggressive push all the way through. Mo hitting some nasty shots. And then I have no idea how Wolfen gets this many kills with a Spectre clip. They weren't even like low on HP. Like none of those kills got assists. No one did enough damage. And then you just got a reaction Foxy shot. That's a highlight reel in itself. That
whole round is just like a frag movie right there. Like whoever's doing like the replays, let's just play that round. Like put some, I don't know, some Linkin Park over it. It'll be fine.
Of course. I knew you would say Linkin Park.
Look, I've got a frag movie playlist, man. You leave me alone. Anyway, the money has now been shattered for Kase. The force up from XL and the hero rifle, it actually works out for them. They're far from stable money-wise, but they can certainly fashion the purchase, right? So, precarious, but the site's theirs. And look at this lurk coming in from Foxy. This guy's so quick, so sharp.
Spike planted.
Ambi and Yuri. Oh, man.
Last player
you felt like you had such a chance in this at the start, didn't you? And now these last couple of rounds don't really chip away, and that's gonna be 10 now beckoning, Tom. This is starting to look like it's slipping through the fingertips, right? I need to see that buy come back in for Kase, and soon.
Yeah, I think Excel have almost started to take a bit of a leaf out of Kase's book, because it's like, you can see that Kase have a lot of ideas for like set plays. Like, okay, we want to get aggressive here, we want to take this map control. So they've just been leaving a little bit more of a lurk, and then just pushing somewhere, like taking that map control. They got mid in the last round, then they make a play into B. And the thing is, if they don't run into whatever set play Kase are running, it becomes a very easy round for them.
Yeah. Ooh. And that, it's not even really a lurk at that point from Foxy, but the timing's just so good. So damn good. He's on a bit of a heater again, and what a showcase in a moment like this for these players. You want to be kind of putting that skill on display, showing who you are to the the wider world. We go back in 10-6 now. Kase could do with this one. Big round for them. And already Ambi does not get the play he wants in middle. Already gonna be warded away. Gives a space up to Alive to start maybe taking that little bit of room. Utility finally invested towards this though. Maybe trying to keep in mind there has been pressure now slipping through the net on this side, and Wolfen willing to fight.
Yeah, this time there is going to be some aggression. The operator alongside it as well. And even just to spam through to give that extra little bit of space. I can understand why they're moving away. And I like this setup from Kase. They've got the wall on A site. They've got the two players aggressive, and then the push all the way up on B. They have basically locked them in towards middle or outside the A site, which they can't currently pressure into.
And this is when it starts. Angle completely unknown to Mo. Didn't even consider it for a second. And the wall in the way. What do you do with this? Again, banking so much from Alive, potentially prying a couple of players on the back line away from this, but for now they still need to get towards the site, trying to clear towards the back of Gen. But again, we can know where Kase are. They're sitting more towards the tree, a little bit deeper towards Heaven, towards CT. Haditech deciding he doesn't even want to use the knife just yet, and the KJ all going to come in. So again, we see that being removed as fast as possible. The spam's not working out for him right now. Nothing's denied this just yet. 3 more seconds. And again, they got to get the hell out of there. And actually, Chihuahua gets detained.
Yeah, this is going to give extra space for them to start making that move, and with them forced out of the site, the smoke is already going to push them back completely. This is going to be tough now for XL.
Do they have anything to deny that plan? I guess Alive is the player who needs utility. Just throw Alive through the one-way. The man's absolutely... Okay. Okay. No, not like this. How did it happen? How?
What? That's the thing. Casse did everything right. Like everything. They forced him out with the lockdown. They sectioned him off with the smoke. I think the main issue is they just didn't get anyone on the defuse. Like until it was way too late. And by that point, the smoke fades, and well, you're up against a firing squad. I think Alive just buying enough time as well by just getting a single kill. But that just looked really, really messy from Casse, because only at this point are you getting it anywhere near half. And that was what the full smoke had already dissipated by that point.
Yeah,
that's a slip up.
That's a shame. Man, that's gonna be pretty devastating. 'Cause that felt like a viable round, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Lockdown coming in, all looking super well rounded, looking good. Kind of hoped they'd get to halfway, even if it was just potentially that, you know, almost a one and done mission from Alive. If that was enough to draw their attention away, perfect. Like, what it got the job done. Man, I feel for Casse in this, because that's gonna be one you're gonna go back on and watch again and be like, you know, goddamn, well, why did it go down that way? But 11-6 now, the lead's starting to really pull away, because, again, money-wise, that's going to become a bigger factor here. They're starting to run down to the very end of their, you know, the kitty. They don't have much left to play with now. It's going to be sheriffs, maybe light armor at most, who knows, a shorty or two, whatever they fancy coming in with, but it's not much, and they haven't had much to write home about in this half yet.
Calling my out of charges.
Yeah, and then the worry, I think you said it before, this is their map choice, right?
Correct.
For Casse,
Correct.
So that's a really, really bad sign. Like, don't get me wrong, when you're playing maps like Ascent Haven, I feel like most teams are going to be having those within their wheelhouse.
Stealing that.
But have you moved away from the sky? You always used to be the sky main.
I'm trying to broaden my horizons.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I saw Shao and I'm converted, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Shao, the guy who can play every agent in the game, you saw him play one well and you're like, I can do that.
I can absolutely. If I just do the same as him, that's fine, right? So, working on it. Ooh, Alive is not going to be alive much longer. Ambi's going to take him down, and maybe there's still a chance. Maybe there's a little bit of hope in this. So they start to clear the site. They start to clear main. There's a lot on the list of what Casse need to do, and they need to do it quick. They have the operator with full. They have the knives out for Ambi, who's desperately trying to fight for this. They have their way back towards the site. 3 still stand, though. Chihuahua has res as well if needs, must. Mo holds the line. Ambi goes down. Where's the trade? There's one. Fox is going to find Chihuahua. Wall goes up. It gets instantly broken. The head gets ripped off the shoulders. And now the defuse is just going to be held down. Maybe close, but Casse stay alive. 3 standing, 3 rifles come through, excuse me, 2 rifles and 1 operator comes back in. And Ambi, we said, look, we want to see more from this guy. That's a round that he's genuinely had impact on.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he was someone who was always like a jet main, moved to Giants, was a pretty damn good Sova, and then it seems like coming back into Casse, they put him back in that superstar role, and so far in this map, we haven't seen it. Like, sure, I can be forgiving on the attack. Like, you are literally diving headfirst into Jules, but the fact is, when it comes to this defensive side, that's where he's given the opportunity to thrive, and should, in this round, probably be given that operator as well, so...
Excuse me?
So it's you, then. That's what I've learned. It's you.
That's really upset me. It's really upset me on such a personal level, Tom.
And that's still the funny thing for Masters. I think me and Mitch had 2 technical pauses, which lasted, like, I want to say less than a minute.
Yep.
How long was your tech pause during the lower final?
It felt like hours, Tom.
Anyone have a stopwatch for that? Should we all crack our knuckles again? That was disgusting, by the way. I was sat in the audience for that, and when you were like, "Oh yeah, everyone cracked their knuckles," I was like, "I'm actually offended by what has just been put forward."
It's unpleasant, but I felt unpleasant. All right, so you know, here we are. It goes full circle.
Everyone else will suffer with me.
Exactly. I don't want to suffer alone. I don't know what was worse, that or just hearing the word boxes for 400 times. Did you like the song, Tom?
The boxes? What was boxes? What have I missed out on?
You didn't hear the boxes song.
No, I don't think I did hear the boxes
Every time it comes in from a break. Okay, Tom. You're just
maybe I just don't know the name.
It literally says boxes. That's all it says. Wow.
Okay.
All right, dude. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough, man. Like, I don't know. I guess some of us pay attention.
I'm just too focused on the Valorant to remember the songs. So,
well, the Valorant's not started when they're playing the song, Tom, so don't even start with it. No. But yeah, again, tech pause coming in. I can try and find out what said issue is. Bear with us a moment. Absolutely no idea. No updates. So, how has your day been, Tom?
Oh, it's been all right. I woke
Yep.
up. Someone said,
Woke up.
"Do you want to cast with Pansy?" And I was like, I suppose. Like that.
Well, well, you could, try and sound a little more excited
I mean,
about it.
yes, it's my dream come
Nice.
true. After we casted together in the UK CS:GO scene once.
True. Yeah, no, those were the days. Those were the days.
Were they?
No, hell in a cell, baby. Hell in a cell. So we can talk a little bit about. We'll kind of keep it semi, towards work for a little while, and then we'll just spiral. Obviously.
Okay.
Any players you're looking forward to seeing in the kind of VRLs? Is there any player that maybe you'd seen in obviously the tier 1 scene previously that had either been changed over by roster changes or whatever? Is there anyone you're looking forward to seeing again at this point?
See, I've just had to censor my own brain because I was gonna say baddie mother G, and I was like, I can't say that, so I'll say mother flipping G. I'd like that man, one of the friendliest human beings in the universe, and also probably the best stand-in there has ever been. I think that's safe. They literally won season 1.
Did pretty good.
Yeah, but Baddie G won them season 1 in EMEA. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I'm playing fair. He used to play Phoenix, and they brought him in on Astra. Like, man adapted fast.
He did. That is true.
To be honest,
that is actually wildly true. The Astra swap. That is insane.
The whole Vitality team is just exciting to me. Like, you had Hyber as well, who stood in for Fnatic. I don't think it went as well as it could have done, but he still looked
predicament.
Fantastic.
I can't ever blame people if they are brought into the stand-ins to have the most explosive game. You're just trying to fill a role, right? So it's no, but you're right. I forgot about him being in there as well. I think Bone Cold's back around as well. Looking forward to seeing him again. I love a bit of Bone Cold. Yeah, true.
Good old Kiwi.
We've got some good names coming back in. So there's a couple of players I'm definitely excited to see how they fare in this because, as I said, it's hard to get. I mean, there's some really deady people out there who'll watch every single tier of Valorant they can get access to, right? It's just they'll consume anything they can. They love a bit of it. But again, for us, I think it's we see pretty much tier 1, and then it's hard to dip out of that because it's so constant. But it is good to see these names back around. So it does seem as though whatever the issue was has been resolved. So all good. And we get back into it, 11-7.
Oh, okay. There we go. Ambi's already managed to find one. He gets out of there, but Roxy doesn't. It's going to be the trade-off. The two operators going head-to-head early, alive, almost able to... I want to say pad the buy, but he could have literally bought an operator anyway. So they're just using this for fun.
Bit of funsies. 1-for-1
they got
trade
so
out.
many ults. That's the thing. It's the null command is such a... It's so hard to play against on a Killjoy on B side. Because you just lose all of your utility within a second. And just look at where the setup is for the rest of the team. I'm having nightmares already.
Yeah. Very isolated. Good luck. If as said, that ult gets popped, it's not feeling too nice. But, Paditech waiting with Alive, maybe just testing options. Obviously, we know it is just that one man, and 3 still dedicated towards A, and no one going, looking, and speaking of ult, there it is. So Wolfen, good luck, have fun. If he gets more than one, I will be so impressed. And he made a go of it. Doesn't get what he wanted. TP taken, and not much really to report other than there's a lot of them, and the spike's down.
Yeah, this is a super rough spot as well with Foxy lurking in the backlines. If they don't clear this, he almost definitely has a free couple of kills because he can hear them actually breaking the door as well. But he is playing that timer. They're also going to throw utility just to slow things down even further. And wow, this should be 2 free kills.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely on the money. Foxy, perfect positioning. Ambi not allowed to cross too far. XL had that on wraps, and you noted it early. Patitech with the ult, Mo with the investment of the ult. Maybe it was overkill, but obviously we knew there was only one. They don't know how many are there, so I can't blame them for that. But 12-7, this is looking like it's almost wraps here, considering the money as well. Look what they've got behind them in this. It's like 8K on these players. They're leaning towards max now.
Yeah, no, and the thing is they've got so many rounds to actually play with on the other side as well. So I don't know. I feel like we've had a few really good rounds out from Cassie on this defensive side, but now coming in with a stinky buy, 2 ultimates that I feel like are pretty reactive. No, they're going to use it straight away.
Okay. try and brawl it out. You've gone for 1-1 trades. Alive just appears on the periphery of Yuri's vision and leaves just 2. Wolfen and Roxy to find 3. What can he do with this? Can he hold this down?
I don't mind the readjustment. Trying to take back A main control, he can clear out the majority of information. The only thing will be how far he goes. If he holds this spot for when they actually go into the site, fantastic. But it almost might sell them a little bit of false information that this is going to be a B play just because they haven't seen anything.
Yeah. You're right. Here comes Wolfen.
Spike planted.
Oh, the angle. Oh, oh. The timing's ridiculous. And now a 2v2, Tom, there's a chance.
Yeah, especially with the positioning back towards main as well. They have absolutely no idea. It's just the timing couldn't be working out better, and it's left all onto Foxy. He knows where both players are, but it's Roxy instead, his counterpart with an R, that's going to actually take this round down. I don't think any of those peaks could have worked out any better for Cassie if they tried.
That just felt so fortuitous. That timing on Cat then, like, oh my word, that was... I'm sure Alive's frustrated as hell during that, but wow, what a bit of timing for them to walk away with. That was so good. And it's a lifeline, Tom. Like, look at the buy coming back in. There's a little bit of wiggle room with this now. There's a little bit of something. They've got a real buy coming back into this round.
Yeah, and I think Ambi getting onto that operator once again is an exciting prospect, because he has had his moments when it comes to this defensive side. Gives them a little bit more control over mid. And they've almost fallen back into what I would say is their sort of standard, at least thus far.
Okay. Let's see if they can keep this up. It's back to the wall, Valorant, though. This is so tough. Fall instantly with the first one. They're willing to fight so quickly on this, Tom. Like, they're not holding back by a second. But Ambi has to deliver. It's, I believe, an arm. I mean, Mo's still standing on 31.
Maybe clip the wall a little bit, but it's still damage at least. Alive, actually going to go walkabouts in towards B main. There was almost the timing there for him, but he's going to hear the rotation back. They've struggled to take down Wolfen for free, other than just doubling up their ults to actually kill him off. Now they've broken the turret. It's going to drag another player back over.
Oh, this fight could open so much space potentially. I think Fall's got it down. He does. Very patient play waiting there, finding Foxy. Patitek creeping towards the site. Position given away. Utility gonna chunk him down. 43 HP and barely still standing. Look at the damage on Mo and Patitek here. Down so low. Alive, not being given many opportunities. Does Wolfen overextend? No. Keeping composed under this pressure. And there's still that player close, tucked in the corner. That's gonna be Roxy. This is so good. Casse finding these moments to come alive. They are now beckoning. They're really knocking on the door of double digits themselves.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, eventually we are going to see that cash start to run dry, and I think we might be at that point. Foxy with a little bit of extra in the bank to play with, but I think that we're almost starting to see these slower rounds being attempted for the side of XL just to try and almost bait out a mistake. But I'm liking the fact that, at least in the early round, Casse aren't shying away. Even with these passive holds, they're still fighting mid. They're still having these really aggressive push-ups, and XL is struggling.
It's high risk, high reward, right? Like, and I mean, Casse are doing it. I'm beyond impressed at their capability to just pick back up and go back in. Oh, man. Okay. So money's been broken for XL. I say that. Foxy's on 7K. Yeah. Everyone else sitting around 3.5, 2.9. So not too much to write home about beyond him. But how far do they take this now? And as said, Casse now, the aggression from Fall every round, it's not alone either. Wolfen's been dabbling occasionally and, you know, pushing up a little bit here and there. Roxy, Yuri, they're all willing to dabble a little bit. Ambi too. They're all happy to try and take some space, but it's so risky, but it's still working. So
yeah,
again,
honestly, I'd love them to see them just blitz the B side. I feel like the thing that's almost worked out for Casse is the fact that we're seeing these slower defaults into mid, and ultimately they're very, very reliant on Wolfen. And I feel like that's something that can easily be isolated by XL with the current setup. Although I feel like they did predict that because they put an early position from Foxy there, or Roxy, sorry.
Was that Foxy, Roxy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah. For now, though, let's see where the attempts are made by XL on this attacking side. You've got that 3-play stacked kind of double set up towards Street. Not but the chip damage achieved early. Roxy forced off the angle. Roxy having to respect the utility invested so far, and patience being shown from XL. We do have the hero rifle out for Foxy. Everyone else kind of on the Sheriff's, I assume, Headhunter for Alive. And on the other side, rifles galore. They have what they need. So no one overextending. Cassidy this time do need to be a little bit cautious, right? It's that little bit of patience needs to be shown now.
And actually, they're going to start rotating back. I'm not sure what information has actually been had by XL for this full rotation to come through, but it might be just because the wall's down. They expect that there's been a rotation the other way, but whatever it is, I don't think they've got the read correct.
There's a TP gone. Well, let's see. 3 players on the other side, and you're right, maybe this is a misread. Ambi is indeed here, still gonna stand. Not phased, not fussed, and the trade's a good fall. Massive impact on short as well, and Alive just can't catch that cross. This is gorgeous work from Casse, who've come alive in these final couple of rounds. Again, no over-rotations, no giving away opportunities early there, because you could see XL were looking for those chances, right? Any overpeak, any overstep, none of that was going to be coming through. Casse, good adjustment in tempo there. We saw them, and actually credit to them for that quite aggressive play prior, you know, happy to take an early fight or two, but reading the economy perfectly, didn't need to do it now.
Wow, now the pressure really is on. 2 rounds the difference, 4 buy-in. You do have yourself at least the Nightfall available for Mo, but other than that, just a res, which again, just going to be reactive. Still leaving Foxy as this lurk on the Omen. Obviously, he can play most of his utility from afar, but I like the fact that Casse, again, still challenging for map control, still trying to pressure on the other side.
This could be brawly. Ambi could be forced away from the initial angle, respecting the utility invested. And XL trying to weigh up their options. Testing the waters a couple of times, but I wait for that next step. Ambi hasn't been forced away. They're still trying to re-aggress this, and Ambi's willing to stand and fight. Chihuahua's going to invest the res. Oh, that was almost another body dropped. Mo, you are lucky to be alive.
Yeah, they switched up their utility placement for KJ as well, so that information in mid has been there for the first time in a while. Alive still holding just in case there's a rotation, but it's very patient from XL. They're expecting some level of re-aggression to eventually come through, but I'm almost looking at the fact that eventually Roxy is going to have that dart back online, and this could give the entire game away.
Well, looks like the ult's ready to go. 2 players noted. Maybe just no, there is absolutely 2. Ambi still good for it. Still plucks Chihuahua away from the window. Roxy good for 1 on the trade, but now XL have the site. It is going to be a 3v3 post plant. What do they have for this post plant? I guess Yuri's got res if they want to find the timing right to utilize it, but the ult coming back in as well from Paddytech. So this is still going to be brutal to try and work in on.
Also, the res is at the back of the site, so you'd basically have to have won the round by the time you actually get anywhere near a res. Turret going to be put down just to try and take initial contact, but Mo's a little bit further back. Timer ticking now as they have to move in, and the thing is, it's unusual for this many players to be straight within the site. A firing scrub for them to walk into, and while now fall, last man standing, no hope whatsoever. XL eventually finished the job.
13-10. That got so close. Now, we were kind of discussing how the composition could potentially work out on the side swap, but Tom, that got way closer than expected, because I think the half was, it was kind of like towards like 8-4 scoreline, right? It was a very one-sided affair, but things really evened out towards the end, and Casse kind of came alive. We started to see maybe why that was their map choice there, but it will still end in a loss though, Tom.
Yeah, I think they didn't quite get the adaptations in fast enough. I think that was the only issue, but I like their little set plays. I like their aggression, and you know what, Lauren, going into a map like Haven, there's a lot of opportunities for that.
There certainly is, and that's what we're going to be heading into next. But before we get there, we're going to go to a short break. Do stick around.
You can't hold me down.
We are back after Excel taking down Case Esports' map pick, and I'm certain that I don't think many expected it to be that lopsided in a way. It was crazy, wasn't it? It was crazy, and I'm sure, Sam, you've got a big opinion about this one.
Yeah, I mean, lopsided is the right word. It really was a tale of two halves, and it almost felt like Kasei were gonna have a huge comeback there, but Excel managed to bring it home.
I was really expecting Kasei to make a stand with their defensive comp in the second half, banking on their own defender side in the end. Well, they did delay the inevitable by quite a few rounds. Some nice comeback rounds they had there in the end, but overall, XL just bold, brash, aggressive, and that basically won them the round.
It was a very close game at the end of the day. Even though it started at an 8-2-4 half, we do have our stats now on screen. Are there any standout players, any performances you'd like to mention?
Oh, that's tough though, because it really does feel like Excel were working really well together. And I know like Pansy kept mentioning how Ambi really needed to step up a little bit. And towards the latter part of the game, he started to come alive a little bit there. But it really did feel like Excel's game to lose. And all of them had these standout moments. But you know what, me being me, I'm going to give it to my boy Chihuahua.
Okay. I can get on board with that. On the other side, I got to mention Kasei a little bit because Wilfen had some really good rounds. We got that insane triple with the Spectre, for example. But other than that, the rest of the team as well, some really good moments overall. Just maybe Kasei overall being a little bit too easy to read for Excel.
100%.
So we kind of saw at the end of the series what you sort of expected while you were analyzing it prior to it beginning, right? Something to do with the compositions.
That's the thing, though. Like, at the beginning of the map, we're sitting there and we're going, it's comp diff, right? I mean, XL are absolutely dominating because they have an initiator. They have the fade. They have so much firepower behind them. And then you take a look at on the other side, and it's like Killjoy, it's Sova, as Pansy was saying, you know, kind of stepping back in time a little bit there. They did start to make it work a little bit more on the defensive side, but they wanted a stronger attacking half. And I think they would have been able to bring that home a little bit more had they had something like an initiator to help them get in onto site. And that was the big struggle, right? Creating space.
I mean, how do you peek a corner here? You flop down a Killjoy turret, and that kind of scouts for you. But yeah, that is exactly the case for Kasei here. They just didn't have the side entry, the retake potential, especially on the defending side, which is why, especially for example, that last round which won XL of the day, they had no way to get on that point.
I mean, we talk about the space control, and that was a big thing for XL in particular, right? So we're now just saying that Kasei was struggling to get into the site, into anywhere they were struggling to break in because XL was so consistently in control. They were pushing out really, really aggressively. They were forcing Kasei back, and it was something that you'd mentioned. Kasei, they lose the initial fights, and then they can't stabilize.
That was very apparent on their attacking side because they were always 4 or 5 man stacking on either side of the map, no split pressure, not taking space in middle at all. So it was really, as I already mentioned, very easily readable for XL. Just they got these awesome Sova darts at the start of the round, pinging multiple people every now. The Fate utility, multiple people. They knew exactly from the start of the round where Kasei was set up, and rotations came in super, super quick. Pansy and Tom spoke about that as well. So just all around, not good enough. I hate to say it, but just not good enough from Kasei in that first map.
Yep.
Well, we've seen weaknesses from both sides, but now it's time for them to adjust them on the second one, right? We've got Haven, XL's map pick. Now they're on their own home ground. Can we see it, Case, potentially making sort of some changes to try and build back their own tempo regarding their own difficulties that they found in the first map?
So we talked about the comp. I like the comp that Kasei is running on Haven usually a lot more, which is something along the line of the little bit more modern era. We have a Fade in there. We got the Raze, of course, Chamber, Omen, Breach. So nice combination of utility. You can do nice layering, especially on the side entries. You have that wonderful support by the Breach, who's, in my opinion, one of the best agents in the game we have currently. So there's a lot of playmaking potential, pressure for different angles, and I really, really hope they can step it up.
I'll be interested to see what's going to happen in the duelist picks. And this was something that I'd kind of mentioned before the first map, but very often we see the Raze coming out here. Sometimes we still see teams kind of leaning into that Jet a little bit more, and I think we might
maybe
see
some
that.
Neon?
You know, as much as I'd love to see it, I don't think it's going to happen. It would make me unbelievably happy. Bearing in mind that Alliance in Northern Europe were one of the very first teams to run the Neon on Haven. But I don't think that XL are going to follow in those footsteps, and neither Kasei. I think we're likely going to be looking at, as I said, the Jet, or more likely the Raze. And then I really want to look at the Sentinel distinction, because I know that XL like to run the Cypher here, which is going to be really cool to kind of juxtapose between whether it's going to be like the Chamber or the Killjoy, whatever Kasei is going to be running.
So you basically say they do really excel at these older agents.
Oh, come on. I love that earlier you even said the case with Kasei is, yeah, right, okay, we hear you.
That was actually no pun intended, but I'll take it.
Okay, all right, you take those, you win those. But you have to take those low-hanging fruit. You can't just lay them lying there, you know, just...
Oh, yeah.
But either way, right, we're entering Haven, right? We're entering Haven. XL also had their own little mistakes going on into that first map. It wasn't as simple as it would be. What would have to be different for them to be more comfortable on this one?
I need them to focus more on those anti-ecos. And I think that was something that both teams really struggled with. But we saw the very first anti-eco, and again, it was this like cheeky Alive pushing out way too aggressively, way more aggressive than he has any right to do. And then he gets that first opening kill, and from there...
He doesn't even teleport out.
Exactly, he just moonwalks out. out, right? And from there, the pins kind of topple. But then in the very next round, they get overconfident. And this has been an issue for Excel throughout the second half. They get so confident, they think that they're like fully on top of their game. They think that they're totally in it, and they make these massive mistakes. And Kasei, super cool, super calm. They see the mistakes and they capitalize on it.
Yeah, their tempo just lends itself to that they are slow, methodical, really patient in their execution. So if you make a mistake early on, you carry too much aggression towards them, they're just going to punish you hard. They're going to get those initial kills and be able to get some nice side entries off the back of that.
Well, I'd love to see the agent select as soon as it is ready, of course. And, you know, what would be key agents for you guys in this particular matchup? I know you've highlighted some chamber here and there. It'd be a big difference between, you know, the controlling the extremities and having that aggressiveness from Excel. But in this one, regarding Haven, I know we're going through it right now. We're able to see the entire map as a whole. What is running through your brain? What speaks volumes about these comps?
I want to see some Paper Rex style double duelist, Raze, Neon with a Sage, some Astra in there. I'd love that. I'd love some high intensity action on this map.
As entertaining as that would be, I think we have to bear in mind that both of these teams do actually want to win, especially with this being match point. And Kasei have to win this if they want to stay alive, knowing that it is XL's map pick. So they're going to need to be that little bit more focused. I know that they also like to run the Breach, so I'm going to be looking at the Breach matchups to see which one of the two is creating the most opportunity for that duelist or duelist adjacent player to get the space that they need to pop off. And then, of course, the Omens. Foxy was doing so well on that previous map, bearing in mind he is the IGL and fragging on top of it. So I want to see how that's going to match up versus the counter Omen of Fala.
Yeah, Fall had a pretty good map, honestly, on that map 1%, even if it didn't go the way of Kasei in the end. It's still some impressive crossfire he was able to set up with his teammates, and quite honestly, Omen is such a great map, such a great pick on this map, that way around. I'm really curious to see where this goes, but also I brought the Fade up earlier already for Kasei. I'm really curious to see how they play with this little bit newer age style of agent choices. If they bring it in and Excel, they do the opposite. They bring back the Sova, bring in the Cypher as well as the Jet.
Yeah, I mean, this is really curious. So we kind of spoke about the Fade a little bit over on Ascent and how much stronger she is now, and her pick rate has skyrocketed recently, and Excel were playing her. And now as they move in onto Haven, they're actually leaning into the Sova, which again is that little bit more dated style. But I think if it's going to be Excel, this is a team that's going to be able to make it work. The interesting thing here for me is, of course, the two differing duelists. We spoke about that a little bit, and it's going to be both the Raze and the Jet. And these two duelists, they have two very distinct jobs in terms of what they're trying to achieve. The Raze is really good at getting a lot of space, using her abilities to push people back with the nades, the satchels, whereas Jet is kind of very much in your face but can get out of danger really quickly. And both of them are going to rely on quite a bit of support from the rest of the team.
What I'm super curious about is to see how Excel uses this Cypher, because it would allow you to leave the Cypher alone on one side and answer aggression by Kasei with a little bit more numbers on your own end on the defensive side. So it's going to be super interesting, but of course Cypher on the offense also always a little bit tricky.
I mean, it's Chihuahua. He loves Cypher. He loves he loves doing it well. But it's time to throw it to our casters to start off this game. Press that button. Start it now.
We will do. We'll get this one started. Tom, press the unmute button. Have you got it?
Well, I've already pressed it to unmute. If I press it again, I'll remute. So is that what you're asking me to do?
Well, I was trying to be subtle about it, Tom, but fair enough. Let's dive into the comps, because we've got quite a curious thing occurring, right? That we've kind of had this switch to the new age for Kasei, and then we've got the kind of back to the basics for Excel. How do you feel about this, right? How does this sit with you?
Compositionally, I definitely lean Kasei's way this time. I think that the combinations you can pull out from like the Raze and the Fade are really nice. So we've seen a lot of teams doing that, especially towards A long. I think Chamber as well. Like Chamber's just cracked at the moment. Like to not play a Chamber on a map like Haven just seems foolish. I will, however, say though that Alive's stats on Jet are absurd. Like he's getting like 295 ACS average. So like I can understand if you have someone that is that good, you kind of go, all right, fair enough. Let's just let him run around. I think they've also Have they dropped him over an extra pistol? Because it's just like these guys, yeah, they're just getting a live go kill. I like it.
Hey, look, we saw it before. You know, Yampi used to become the raid boss. A couple of other teams would always do it, and Alive going to cop a lot of damage at the start, going to at least work away any of the additional he had coming in with this. So Frenzy, a little bit of bait. I kind of like this, trying to draw the attention, but it's all leaning towards his B site. So again, Yuri not checked upon. Got away with murder for a second, but quickly put to bed. And now this is where problems begin. Already with a spike planted, this is so hyper-aggressive from XL. A lovely little piece coming in here, and barely a response made from Kase.
Yeah, I feel like we have to call that attempted murder because it went about as wrong as it could have done. Like, again, like a spot not being checked, but no real capitalization of it. Now XL get off to a flying start on their attacking side, and I like the fact that, as I said, in the last map, I feel like these slower defaults allowed for the setups to come through. In the pistol, they've just gone blitzing in towards B, winning most of the duels, and I think, in all honesty, that's where XL will thrive, because I think they're just the better team pound for pound.
And have I left music playing, Tom, or is there still music in the game?
I'm jamming out. I quite like it.
Pepe D. The vibes are good. The vibes are good. I've not had this before. And you're looking for a clean round here if you're an XL fan. You know, they've got the purchase there with them. On the other side, I see a Shorty, I see a Frenzy, a Sheriff. It's not without a little bit of danger to it, so there is that to keep in mind. But we have to see the tempo and the pace now. Certainly a stark contrast to round one.
The thing is, if it's only me and you that can hear this, you now sound mental.
I honestly, look, it was a long event at Masters. All right, leave me alone, man. It's absolutely washed my
maybe I'll play
mental
into it. I'm like, what music, Lauren? I don't know what you're.
Don't do this to me, man. Don't do this to me, dude. All right, Plan gonna be coming in towards that A site. So for now,
spike planted.
I'm still really enjoying this though. Have to see if anyone can make anything of Yuri's utility. Could potentially play something back in. Ambi's still got a nade. You've got little bits and pieces. Fall as well is something to bring to the plate. So could do some damage.
I'm just leaving it for music breaks. I don't need to say anything now.
No, true.
I feel like we're almost like pre-producing a highlight reel. Like you could just have like some of those extra kills coming through. I really hope that the stream can hear this, otherwise we do sound like a couple of weirdos. But
they've stopped it. No.
That means they're not gonna clutch. Who could have seen that coming?
I know. And the last two alive, Yuri and Ambi, just gonna go for the spike. There it is. Quick way out. And 5 standing for XL, so a very clean start. And just by the first couple of rounds, this looks like this map very much suits them. I do want to see how it fares once we get into the full buys. Obviously, this is going to be a kind of the bonus round, so I'm not too fussed about it. But the lack of impact kind of coming in for Kase is going to really nullify much of the benefits of this round, right? You're still going to have light armor coming in. You're still going to not have that fully robust kit coming through. This could still be an issue. Those Spectres aren't going to be too shabby against this.
It looks like we're going to get an early setup, though. The C's combination alongside the Raze nade is just nasty. And they've even thrown in a stun, but interestingly didn't use it. There we go. I think that has completely missed. But I guess they were trying to almost bait them into jumping away into the nade, but well, it didn't work.
Shadows traveling.
You know, good intention. Sadly, the execution not quite there, but again, I'd like to see more of that. I'm never opposed to seeing, you know, some more pieces coming through, some more attempts like that to really try and bring the fullness of this agent composition into place. Now, a proactive approach towards sewer, but you can note that XL are still keeping an eye on this. They're taking space towards B while still showing a little bit of something on these extremities. So this looks at surface level like a crunch towards that A site, right? But again, they could pivot that back to B. They've got 3 of these players locked in towards this, and that B site bodes pretty well for a Spectre, a Bulldog, and such. So again, this isn't bad, and Chihuahua used to be so good on this agent as well. I'm looking forward to the later stages of what he can do. Roxy's having none of it, though. Absolutely none of it.
No, I like that. The pings were put across early from 4 of the positions that they were in. And now any extra damage that can be done by XL would be huge. Not a lot of weaponry, a bit of a misstep with the check, but
that's fine,
it doesn't matter. Solid trading. I think either teams will be quite happy with how this round ended out.
Yeah, this is fine. You take these. again, for Kase, at least if they'd lost another player, if it got down to 2, I'd be a bit worried. You want to stabilize that economy as soon as possible. I think with 3 standing, they can spread the wealth. They should be okay. It won't be perfect for a while, right? I'd still say XL will come out with a better buy here, of course, because there still will be that light armor. I'm still looking to see what they actually get to really pull into this. Again, though, fortunate to a degree, but Roxy, massive impact on this, and really quelling any of that potential danger of losing more than those 2 players.
Yeah, and I think also just the read that they had and the util put through from Fall was spot on. Again, we're going to see this early seize. They used Ambi off the top of it. Straight in. No retreat for Padatek, but he will get out of there just in time. But a solid start. As you mentioned, was a great buy coming here for XL, but the start has not gone well at all.
No, this is much nicer for Kase. I like this. I want to see more of this. All that work that could we've been kind of theory crafting could work with this composition that we enjoy about it. Look, he's doing something. And also, can we just note Padatek's hair? Just looks like a Head and Shoulders advert right there. Unbelievable. And look at the
Are you really going to talk about hair when I'm here?
I'm so sorry to do that to you, dude. You know? Chihuahua. Yuri's been punished a couple of times for playing towards the back of the site. Now, it's a 3v3, but look at the positioning. With so much room being found by Foxy, and even Mo complementing that with his position, this is really brutal. Because as you can see, there should be a swing, and there it is. Mo's there to punish Fall, so a really good attempt, but this puts so much pressure now towards Roxy, who is towards CT. You can already see that plant is so favorable towards this slip back towards long. Man, this is rough for Roxy. After having great impact in just those prior rounds, this is now put him right back to test. Up on the spike, could draw the attention of one. And there it is, jumpy for Padatek. Even on the other side, Mo, never far away from this. And maybe just gonna try and get it to half. And there we go. So utility's still there. And Roxy knows that, just simply put, they're not playing games. That's a shot, though. Almost making something out of nothing there.
Yeah, I was almost getting some flashbacks to when we saw Xiao do that not that long ago, just at Masters, because just able to win a round that looked like it was done. Nice attempt. I think we're still seeing the same issues that I had in the previous map, though. It's like the initial setups from Kase, fantastic. Like they've stolen the ideas of some of the best teams in the world. Like as said, that Seize nade is something we see so regularly, but they added their own twist with a really aggressive push out from Ambi. The problem is the mid rounds, and that's where I think XL thrive. Like Foxy has found space on both maps with relative ease, and there's also a second layer to most of those pushes as well.
Bloody hell.
Close.
It's a dangerous game when you name yourself alive and you're still on like 14 HP. You know what I mean? You're really tempting fate at that point. A nice attempt though, making something out of nothing. But yeah, you're right. I do see a little twist on some of these, classics, right? Like an interesting take on the old-fashioned, just something to really draw our attention to. We do still see that Bulldog with Yuri, but so far the chip damage did all go towards Alive.
No more charge.
And Roxy falling to it as well. So this is not looking so good for Kase. Orphan gonna punish Foxy, but again, all trades there, just 2 left alive.
Wow, the A site now completely open for business, and again, it almost just comes down to how much damage can be done. Alive low, early flank coming through, but of course you still got the Cypher trips on either side, so any real aggression is going to be tough. And for XL side of things, I guess to just keep it as clean as humanly possible.
Yep.
And surprisingly, they're not going to let Chihuahua plant the spike because his ult is kind of trash.
Damn. Doing that to Cypher, man.
We all know that Cypher needs a buff. Come on, let's be honest. It's good, but in comparison to Chamber, or maybe Chamber just needs a nerf.
Huh. Do you know what? Part of me just really enjoys the fact that something exciting is kind of OP. Like if it was like a boring agent, I'd be like, yeah, no, absolutely nerf it. But
you want 2 raise nades back, is what you're telling me?
Yes. I, as the viewer, find it exciting.
You're a bad person.
Yes,
correct. You're
correct.
a very, very bad person.
Roll it back, man. Keep me in that chamber meta where
buff the showstopper. Buff the.
Look, if Counter-Strike never updated the whole nerfing Kenny SJW, I'd be happy, man. Like those were the days. I love it.
What about the R8 revolver? Do you want that as the initial?
Now
initial
you've
patch?
said something horrible, Tom. You've said something absolutely
You didn't enjoy
foul.
the triple kill body shot?
No.
That was a fun day.
I did like
it. was better than the AWP.
I did like the old CZ, and I get a little bit of that with the Frenzy. I still think the Frenzy's like a little naughty, but I don't want to say it too much. They might start taking away anything I find fun. As said, playing the game, obviously atrocious, but this could be quite good on the other hand. Alive just going to get to decide where's that next layer. They've taken the space. Foxy, perfect. Second one in, going to find Ambi. Clears the back of the side. It's so robust. And Alive getting a little tempted, but he held off. He held off.
I feel like there was somewhat maybe Foxy. No. Don't go through the smoke.
Stop it. But man, they've got their work cut out on the plate. Wolfen, did he slip through on a bit of timing? I mean, they still have the back box Alive, and yeah, that's where the box is going to stop. Yeah, there it was. A little bit of fun, no fun allowed.
A big round for XL. And again, it's the same switch up of pace that we've seen. They go for these slow lurk plays, next round blitz into the site, and I feel like Kase are really finding it difficult to actually get a read on this. Like, the only real aggression we've seen from them is on the other side of the map. And while even getting rid of these weapons at the end, Lauren, it leaves Roxy Hyde, I guess.
Yep. Hide and seek champion of the year so far. Doing really well. Do you ever play Prop Hunt, Tom?
Yes.
Great game. Can we get a little bit of that in Valorant? Oh, been found. Been found. Gets caught out right at the end. So you can see what that's done to the money. They're in a bad spot, Tom.
The thing is, I know that everybody, if they played that, would just hide as the little bear every round.
Good. It'd be so
like, there's
good.
nothing else you'd want to hide as. Just like, I don't remember that bit. Like the one in the tire. I feel like you have to hide as the one in the tire on Breeze.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll call up Riot. Riot, we get some Prop Hunt. They'll probably tell me to go away. It's fine. Oh.
And then you tweet out the fact that someone told you to go away, and then they're screwed.
There you go. You got to leverage your socials, Tom.
You got to weaponize the audience.
That's the one. If I say enough like Pepe's, right, the audience becomes my friend, and then I can use them to get Prop Hunt in the game. That's the master plan here. All right, it's ingenious. And something that has to be ingenious is what they're going to do with this purchase coming in for Kase and how they plan to approach this. Because XL, I feel like, is starting to take some strides in the game. I'm seeing some depths here, seeing some good looks. I feel like watching XL on this map, I've gone, yeah, this is absolutely their map choice. They look comfy.
Yeah.
We've seen a couple of glimpses of actual decent looks from Kase, but they're just being broken back down to these half buys, and I'm a little worried. I'm a little bit worried.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm looking at XL about to go into C, and I'm about to say the phrase, I think the C site looks quite weak, so
right.
Maybe I'm not the only person who's noticed that. They have a lot of set plays in towards A, even pushing mid this round. You've got Ambi all the way down in the window, but, well, you haven't had any resistance over the last couple of rounds on C, so just going to go for that push. Wolfen, though.
Where did he get two?
All right.
How's he got two? When did he get alive? All right, fair enough. Okay, post-plant with 3, and let's see what they can do with these 4. Stand and Fly apparently is the name of the game for Mo. Goes back in for more. Can't get it though. Good trades coming out from Kase. Now the positioning from Panitek, I think he's going to lose out on this fight because there's one coming in from Garage in a second's time. But Foxy's actually got his back. Maybe still a little bit of hope in this. No way.
Remaining.
He's going to sit this. He is absolutely going to sit this. You better check on that. Oh, right in front of your face. Panitek. And you know, I've even noted what was going on at the time, but still, it is a round for Kase and a well-needed one at that.
There's so much to dissect. You've got the aggressive push. You've got one of the most audacious repositions I've ever seen from a team. They use a rolling thunder towards the spawn, but while they do that, they basically use that rolling thunder to mask from the shadows, which TP'd into spawn and then ran back in behind. That's why you had that second layer to the player holding. And then it all just tops off with a ninja defuse. So, yeah.
Solid round.
Yeah. Good one.
Good one. And look at this pace coming in. Walking over. Fair enough, man. I mean, fair enough.
Unlucky Pat, 2 rounds in a row.
Yep. Come on, Pat, you got to win those, man. Sarcasm, there's nothing you could do. Play back in, though, finding Alive as well. So taking away Patatek and Alive from this, leaving the last 3. 2 towards long, and 1 trying to lurk in through Garage, and both have lost. Chihuahua goes down by Garage, leaving it all to Foxy. And this is good from Kase. playing it back in perfectly, and look at that, just an army in front of him. Kase now going to get 3 on the board. This is the perfect response. 3 standing. This is looking much better.
Yeah, and I think having that operator for Wolfen just on C is going to change the dynamic quite a bit. Like, they've had some troubles financially in a lot of the early rounds, so getting that operator wasn't really much of an option. I think the rest of the map, they've been okay. I'm interested to see, though, if XL go back to those fast B plays, because that's been another spot on the map where ultimately they've been able to get into the afterplant for free, and the retakes haven't been great, but a lot of those retakes were attempted with weak weapons, so...
This could be nice. I am looking to see where XL go now. These have been 2 really good answered rounds from Kase. They found value, and look at the pace of this one. Ambi unleashes that spike now down. They try to get that crunch going on the other side as well. The 8 players pushed up a little. 1 towards 2, they got picked up. I believe that was either Patatek or one of them found it towards Fall. So again, already player advantage this early. We're at 120. This is insane already. The pace coming out from Kase, just hitting that flip. Patatek looking kind of sharp though this round, Tom.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rest of his teammates are getting ruined. You've also got that operator still there. It's a missed shot, and now the flash leaves Wolfen completely blind. He's going to be able to pull out the pistol. And well, again, it's just gone back in the favor of XL.
Okay, Ambi. Get the perfect start. Can you bookend this round? 2 players, experience plenty. Gonna isolate 1. The tap was just off. Just a centimeter away. And heroics from Patatek that round.
Have you played Escalation, like the game mode where it's basically gun game, but it's not because we can't call it gun game.
Of course.
And that's what I felt like in this round. Like, you've got one guy running in with a showstopper through a trip. It's just like, and then just huge plays coming out of Patatek. The thing is, I feel like he's one of those players who, I think it was even going into, was it Heretics? They even basically just went, actually, yeah, you're a superstar player who just hasn't been playing a superstar role.
Yeah.
But it almost works out better when he's not on a superstar agent because he just doesn't need it.
It's early work coming out now. It's looking a little bit spicier, but that could have been so impactful. Oh man, Chihuahua's just nullified this round though. It was like looking kind of dangerous, chip damage on long, all of it. Right.
Kill him.
Right.
See, look, it's on him right now.
Just.
No, don't put another.
Back we go.
They have to have a decent idea that someone is here.
Surely.
This is not a particularly good smoke either, because they can get a little bit further than they probably would have liked, but it's just an on-the-fly one to almost try and force him back.
Okay. Oh, it's gone badly. It's gone severely badly. Chihuahua just prying open the side. Roxy at the back now. Ooh, what a shot. An absolute screamer by Roxy, but it's all for now, really, as Ambi. Problem is, it's a shorty. Ooh. Yes.
I've seen Twiston make this work.
Right.
I will say he's the only player I've ever seen make this work.
It's a good caveat there.
Yeah, I miss watching Twiston sometimes. Like, there's other times where I feel like I want to break my monitor, but
I really miss watching him. Sometimes. That's all. It's like
anybody who
imagine we call out Michael, hypo, and be like, Mike, I really miss you. Sometimes, and then just hang up.
Anybody who watches Twiston enough understands exactly what I mean. It's like he'll do the most incredible things, but at the same time, you think about it from the other player's point of view, and you're like, I hate that you did that.
Brilliant.
For example, like that. Imagine how annoyed, upset Mo must be right now.
Yes. Brilliant. And this was the start of it. You feel if there was...
I don't know. Rito, I think that was on him.
This second shot by Roxy was out of this world. Look at that. Oof.
It's always Patatek.
Look, he gives them out. He gets them back once in a while. You know what I mean? It's how it goes. But we do see that combo work coming in.
Right.
And alive. Actually managed to stay perfectly unscathed. TP taken. Where the hell did Foxy just get to? Okay. 1-for-1 trade out, but the back lines are pretty much broken now. That A site looking vulnerable, and now there's problems. Ambi already down to 41. Mo gonna scout out at least probably 2 of these players alive, teed up with the information, and Ambi already noted. Isolates 1, gonna find Mo. Checks back towards Spike, gets another 1v1, but it's Chihuahua. It's never really a 1v1. This man is a walking army at times, leaving Wolfen far away.
Spike planted.
Yeah, again, I feel like a lot of these executions have been clean, and at Kase, other than the sort of blitz into mid, which they've now done twice and had relative success, a lot of their set plays have just been worked out. Like, okay, you're going to throw this combination of deep utility, we'll wait for it, and then we'll take the fight. And I don't think, like, you could even see the positioning of Alive in that round. Like, he was so ready for any of the utility they were going to throw.
Yeah. Does he get to keep this operator? Ah. Orphan chilling down by the Soulcast incident.
Why?
I don't know, man. It's just anytime I see that corridor, it just comes to mind. You know? That's it. That's how I see the map now. 3 to 8. Yeah. And the problem is, again, at eye test alone, we've actually had some really close rounds. You know, the 2 on the trot back to back, the timeout going for Excel. There was some really quite close moments for Kase where I felt like they'd really started to take the control back, started to really, you know, come online. And then the pace change comes in. You start to see that depth with Excel. You start to see the individuals doing bailouts. That scoreline's really quite drastic now.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like that's what makes this Excel side so exciting, is they have actually built an incredibly good team by picking up a lot of parts that didn't quite make it in other rosters. It basically just means they've sort of... it sounds like a team of rejects, but I wouldn't consider it that way. Oh my god. That was one of the boldest players I've seen in a while from Foxy, and he gets away with it.
I don't know how. I do not know how. And you were talking about those fast B pieces. We'll get to see it, the spam on the site. No one's on it currently. Did not get it to half. Keep your mind towards how that spike is progressing. Already the lurk's been dealt with, so Alive gets taken away from the back lines, but there's another string to this. Chihuahua's on the way. That should be a trade. It is. Good work. And now it's all on Mo. There's the ult. And he's getting closed down on his Reddit correctly, but he can't do much about it. Kase gonna find the answer this time and make it to 4.
Yeah, it does almost seem like when the rounds get really scrappy, that's where Kase actually played better. Like, I think that the initial start from XL was a little shaky, and then I think just off a tap, they were spamming the spike for a good, like, 15 seconds just in case there was someone there, because they didn't have vision on it anymore. And that was enough for them, I think 2, maybe 3 of their players to just be caught a little bit out of position, and they were ultimately playing for that Hunter's Fury, but it was just too early. Like, there was no way that Mo was going to kill 4 players with the Hunter's Fury at the end of the round.
Yeah, and and I do want to kind of highlight how this kind of tees up in my mind, because again, when we look at some of the teams that kind of came out from the, like, quote unquote tier 2 scene, again, please don't take that as like a negative. It's not meant, but, you know, we'll talk about tier 1 as the teams that, you know, qualified your masters, obviously your champions who play in the, you know, the EMEA stages, you know, through challenges. But teams like Focus, teams like Big, these are such dangerous teams that came through. And speaking of danger, Wolfen bangs out Alive to start with.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought he was the one in trouble.
Nope, just fine. Just fine. All good. Oh, dear. Oh, this is not pretty, is it?
He's got a teammate to help, though.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's quite a nice start for Wolfen, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not really how I expected that pistol round to go. I like how the rest of the team almost just went, all right, you have fun. Well, we're going to just go plant on the other side of the map and just leave you to try and kill everyone. And yeah, XL probably a bit frustrated because, again, they had the opportunity to isolate this chamber, which is always going to be helpful, and they got wrecked.
Chamber good. Chamber real good. And it's a gateway, right? This could be the ladder back into the game potentially. Convert the next, keep them clean, as we consistently say. This man is he just wants his ult. He's gonna get it. It's the one-man army. Wolfen just tearing him limb from limb. You got Foxy, Chihuahua, and Mo left. And as it stands, this is perfect for him. Tour de force nice and early. Build up that money. And there's been almost no impact coming out as well from the other side. So XL being put through it. They are in the ringer right now. There is no way out of this one. And Foxy just has to face the music here.
Yeah, again, any damage would be nice, but I can't really see it happening. And there you go,
Bloody hell, he's
Wolfen again,
one away.
back-to-back rounds, and yeah, orbs on this map specifically. If you're gonna go fighting in towards A long, like you could realistically get a kill with the headhunter. So he's currently, I didn't even notice, he's 16-8. Now, granted, he was 10-8 about 2 minutes ago, but even still.
Yeah, Wolfen's having a bit of a game. He's having a half. For now, though, we see the buy coming out. Not quite as worrying as... Well, again, they'll be missing bits and pieces. Light armor here, some lack of utility, I'm sure, but Wolfen's still trying to find it. This guy, if he gets any more, that'd be nasty. Ambi with a good trade. Gonna put Chihuahua under a lot of scrutiny, and he can't run away from it. Stand and fight. Lovely little crunch towards the side, but he does stand, and he does deliver. Ambi goes down. He's got 25 HP. If Chihuahua does any more, this would be heroics. The flash comes in, the pre-fire just spamming it. Does go down on the trade. And Kase making a round out of this. Bear in mind, the guns they came in with were not pretty. It was Bulldogs, it was odds and ends. It's what they had, but Wolfen, well, ults out. He got what he wanted. And lucky to still be standing.
Yeah, the thing is now they've used a Rolling Thunder, a Tour de Force popped. They almost need to be bringing this round home. Swing back through from Paditek, though. And now it is left all onto that ult. First shot landed, and he'll get the second as well. Wolfen on fire. 3 triple kills in a row, Lauren.
You don't get better than that, do you? Wolfen having a highlight of a half. And you were right, though. The investment that came out from Kase there, it almost had to be around as well. Really heating into this one, trying to invest those ults they're working towards early. And this guy, because look at the work that Paditek put in, right? Clears towards long. Gets the reveal towards side. Yuri's in danger. Perfect. Cleans him up. But again, Wolfen so disruptive, and at this point, there was nothing the Mo could have done. Again, perfect work from Wolfen. Time to heat up on it. Absolutely stunning work. And this has sent XL right back to the Stone Age. Their buy is shoddy, to say the least.
Want to go for another triple? Let's see how many in a row he can get. Oh, it's absurd. And that's the thing, like, we saw him on the KJ. He was pretty good in the last map. Like, of all the players that they had, he was all right, but I'm almost starting to think maybe they should just play him on Chamber from now on, because this has been absurd.
I mean, how can you have this and then not play Chamber on every map? Because in my mind, he only ever plays like this, and there's no downsides.
Of course. Like, he would never have bad maps and good maps.
No.
That's not how players or Valorant works.
Correct. It's just purely Chamber good. Play Chamber. And now this
You
is
should be on the
standing.
desk.
I mean, look.
Spike planted.
Analyst desk. It's a lot of sitting around, Tom. Can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. Sweeping statements, though, that I can do. And this is looking like another round for Kase here. Chihuahua, Foxy, Paditek. I feel like Paditek's always going to get you 2 no matter what, but again, it probably won't convert to a round win. Yuri, isolated. It looked flashed. Looked very flashed to me there, but apparently not the case. Yuri just fine, and the scoreline tied up. And you got to say it. This start was off the back of Wolfen, 20-9. But the rest of the team now stepping up in kind.
Well, what I was going to say is, you remember in round 15 where I said, oh, they've used the Rolling Thunder. They have to win the round now.
Right.
He's got his Rolling Thunder back.
It's fine.
Yeah, didn't seem like it made that much of a difference anyway, but it just does seem like Wolfen and Yuri, they both had step-ups over the last couple of rounds, being able to, I guess, be a little bit more direct with how they're using a lot of this utility, and right now, XL are struggling. Full buy-in. They've got an ult or 2 of their own, and Paditek! Well, I guess if your duelist is a little bit quieter, you become the duelist.
It is the bonus of having Paditek, though. The guy is, you know, hella sharp. So, at this point, you have the man advantage, and out of all the players to kind of headhunt, you want Wolfen gone, right? Like, you're happy with that. You're like, okay, we can hit the brakes for a second now. We don't have to worry about him. But there was the other string to that bow, which was Yuri, right? So again, let's see what Yuri can do with this. And towards sight.
Right here.
Mo looking to do that chip damage. And actually, XL going to try and pressure this one, but sent right back again. Response in kind. The drop down comes in, and Roxy all too aware of what Mo wanted to do. Juan going to come in, and Kase are just digging their heels in.
Yeah, and they've used up the majority of the utility to get them back in. You got a couple of flashes out, but the remaining players just not peeking, holding back, and this flank still quite far away. Foxy even taking the peek before Alive can actually get anywhere near.
Yeah, and Alive can do the best he can. Pantec needs to pull attention. Alive's doing well, trying to keep this round at least somewhat competitive. But again, Alive! Shot! And now he's got to know where this player is on the back of the side. Spins it! Oh, get it, Rocky! Saving Kase and putting them to 9 because that got way more dangerous. But we've got to talk about the timing as well on some of these retakes as well. Looks a little bit mismatched. Maybe a little bit of frustration starting to lean into this. But again, that was a 2v4. Maybe, yeah, it was a 2v4. They got way too close.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, it definitely looked like Alive was maybe a little bit later. I guess the only argument could be that you kind of want to start getting in a little bit earlier. And also, his flank probably would have been checked if no one else moves. So maybe he wouldn't have got as much done. But you definitely want to see them actually fighting at the same time. Good thing is, though, with that many kills, he actually gets a Blade Storm here. So it's something that they can hope to play around. But at the moment, I feel like the superstars on XL haven't needed to pop off as much, whereas on Kase, they are just flying.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ambi, first man in. Well, first foot towards the site, but you can see that XL's sitting a little bit deeper this time, but it is Sheriff's. Bits and pieces. Actually, Chihuahua doing okay to find Ambi here. This is still kind of contested until about now, unless there's like a mad pop-off round. Yeah, not gonna happen. Wolfen's still fine. His pistol's bigger than theirs. It's all good. And now, Kase starting to tear into this game, man. It's 10-8. This has been, what, 6 on the trot now. And there's a reason we were talking about the comps at the start of this as well. As much as, yes, you know, we do meme a bit about, you know, Chamber, but it's super strong. And especially in the right hands, given the right opportunities, I feel that we haven't seen much of Alive really apart from that one round, right? Like that one round he had some impact. Yeah. It feels like he's been absolutely destroying this game. Wolfen's had his number every single time on this half. So
I think even just the setup kit as well. Yeah. It's like, I feel like Fade is still ridiculously strong, especially going into this attacking side.
Absolutely. Just
with the amount of utility you have to actually delay on retakes as well. Even the ult's pretty decent. I'd say Hunter's Fury is up there with it, but I don't know. I think we're starting to see the real strengths of having that sort of raised chamber combo with Ambi coming online as well. And on the other side, you are more reliant on someone like Alive, or, well, I guess in many of the rounds, Padatek. So we have to wait and see what sort of response they have, because I don't feel like they have as many opportunities to go for those same set plays that we saw from Kase in the first half, even if they weren't as successful.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I do think this is a little bit of really expanding on what is incredibly strong about this comp. I mean, it's what we've seen throughout for a very good reason. Incredibly diligent. And the buy coming in, I mean, Alive's got his ult, so it's not too bad. We have to see if they can handle Wolfen. Wolfen has absolutely been shutting down Alive throughout these rounds, and here's the switch up. It looks like a B piece coming out this time.
Oh, Ambi already within the site.
Fair enough.
They've used the horn already to sort of force some of these players back. Foxy, that's a nice shot, though.
Would you expect another? Apparently you would, but Ambi still gets the better of Foxy, and now here comes that brawl towards the side. Padatek again alleviating some of the stress and bringing it back to a 3v3. Now Alive trying to deal with his presence, and Wolfen still good for it. It's Chihuahua to fall. Alive.
Oh no.
He's had a nightmare. It's all on Padatek. It ain't gonna work. Kase coming through this absolutely hot to trot. That's 11 now. This is a blowout now in this half.
Yeah. No, especially like an 8-4 attacking side half. You go into that defense, and they've just been slammed. And the thing is, it seems like the reads have been incredibly solid. Like, they're able to use the horn early on to force back any players within the B site. You then re-aggress to take control. And then the flank is basically just being watched by Wolfen, and he got the timing spot on.
Yeah. Down to a T. This guy's feeling the game. The money is swelling. 8k on one, 7 on the other. They are in a good spot. And they're feeling aggressive. Now Alive at least going to get one here. That's Ambi nullified, but that's not all this team has. They still have plenty more to put into play. Roxy still tons of utility to try and set the tempo. Same with Fall, same with Yuri. And then you've obviously got Wolfen. So this is going to be interesting.
Will he have time to react? Oh, they had a pop flash. That's such a sick setup. That's such a sick setup.
And that's going to instantly slow this down. They have to respect that, right? And you can see that in response, XL slipped towards the site, sit a little deeper. That was actually really nice. Because I said, without noting where Patty Tech was, I was like, that's kind of weird. That doesn't look good. And that doesn't look good either. The Wolfen in full just managed to slip towards the site, and no one stopped them. How did they get that deep on the site without anyone being aware of the possibility?
Spike planted.
And Foxy's a mile away. That's now going to give away the game that he was on the flank. That should call Roxy into attention, who is low, but at least could just be acting like an early warning system here. Alive with the operator. It ain't pretty, but that kill was Foxy. Making a couple of steps towards the site now. Alive. Decimated. Wolfen's an animal. Absolute animal of this. And Foxy, let's see what you got. A 1v2. Not pre-fire. Not wrong. But to the left was Wolfen waiting. And this is 12. Tom, this has been an absolute clinic from Kase on this side.
Match point.
Yeah, it's like there's some fantastic ideas in this round, like at the beginning of it at least, but I do agree, it looked like a bit of a blip where you either just had the trips a little bit too shallow to catch players in time, or you just expected someone to jiggle peek on your team, because that's the thing, it's this. Like, that trip is meant to stop him from peeking, he just goes that little bit deeper and has a teammate watching, and that's what we've seen in the second half, which has made this such a clinic, is that I feel like the team play has just been fantastic from Kase. Like, sure, there's been one or two players popping off, but you've had solid trading, you've had good utility to set them up, and you've had that a couple of times from Alive. I feel like he's got too used to Chamber at this point.
Oh, it feels bad, Tom. This feels real bad. It's feeling like it's falling to pieces, and Kase making light work of XL, which is kind of surprising at this point. Patatek is trying to put up any fight he can. Gets out of danger for now, but still, Mo's there. There's still a little bit of chance in this one. Still fight left in XL, and that's nice from Chihuahua. All for the 1v4. Would you dare? 5 shots in the tour de force. There's so much he can do. 9. First response from XL.
And it's Patatek again. I think he's had some world-class impact in this half, even though things haven't really been going their way. Dives in, gets a kill, Rolling Thunder, that sets up the rest of the team to actually do work. And I think also it was his aftershock that tagged Ambi to 30 HP. So that gives Chihuahua an easy kill on this drop-down. So yeah, he gets an assist on basically every single kill that came in on that retake.
Let's go.
The walk down mid for Alive. On a knife's edge now. First fight, not won it, not clean enough. Roxy outdoes him. Well, Patatek's under pressure. That's enough to at least ward them away, and Chihuahua hearing no more steps can at least call this somewhat clear, but... Ooh. Where'd you go now, Kase? You got options, you got a man advantage, you got time to play with.
Well, that's the thing. I think they could have easily put the pressure in onto Patatek, but they don't want to overface, over-aggress, and risk too much more. The thing is, though, XL's read looks pretty good. 3 players already rotating in. They've got utility elsewhere. But here comes the Nightfall, and actually, that's going to tag a couple of players. That's a lot of information currently there.
I think that's probably, what, 3? 2 at least? And away we go, straight in. Ambi doesn't care. For Foxy with a snap. Gonna find 2, needs more. Gets more! Foxy! Saving them, at least in this round, but it's the Wolf on the prowl still in a 1v2, and Foxy is low HP. Down he goes, another 1v1. Chihuahua or a Fox. I don't know how I feel about it, Tom, but it's not feeling good for... Oh man, Chihuahua here, 24 seconds. Spike, still towards long, and Wolfen waiting. And the timing's right. It's around. Doesn't note him, though. Chihuahua just slipped away for now. Easy to hide when you're that size, and now he swings, sees him, but he's got to play this perfectly. He's not worried. Ooh, precarious, but he gets it. Chihuahua gonna drag XL to 10.
Well, I can't believe what we've just witnessed from Foxy. Like, it definitely a little bit of luck in there, but his positioning throughout was solid, and coming out with 4 kills? I think most of them were while he was incredibly low as well. Other than that, though, it was, again, a pretty decent round, but this double kill, that's just absurd.
You don't want to be depending on this, right? Like, that's the one thing, is that you'll take it, right? If this is the round you're going to get that you need to save you, fair enough. You'll absolutely take it. But again, I still feel that Kase are leading this on paper, right? They had so much money built up. I'm still interested in what they've got here. Okay, they've still got a buy coming in on this. They're still okay for that. But they will be running down to the last bit of cash, and then it could be OT at this point. But will we have another Foxy round? Will we have a Paditech round? Will one of them pop off here? Because again, Alive's been a little quiet for my taste in this map here. Kind of been outdone by Wolfen a little. You could see him pretty much losing that fight. But this is scary times now.
Yeah, I think he definitely did his work on the attack. I think he was great in taking space, getting them into sites, and a lot of their executions were set up around him. Now that he's left almost more of a, I guess, a piece in the puzzle rather than the focal point, it seems like he's been struggling quite a bit more, and even just making mistakes. Like, this is probably gonna offend him a little bit, but this is reminding me of when Yassine first picked up Jet, and he kept just dashing head first into people, and I was like, yeah, stop, please.
Yeah, it is a pressure situation, but you gotta hold them to high standards here. Feeling the crunch at these points. And it is Ambi heading on in. Looking for the start, he gets it. Mo's been deleted here, and Fox is gonna be pretty much noted. Oh, okay. Does get noted, has to fall off. This spike now down, and it's quick. Not able to catch anyone on the way out either. XL, you have their work cut out in this one. Down to 4 and a plant against them. This should be a freebie, and it is. Chihuahua behind the wire, but how do they get the rest of them?
They got the information. The neural theft is going to tell them that there's nobody within the site, and now you can start seeing all of that utility being pressured and the wraparound being attempted.
Oh, almost had it. You can see the impact alone, and now it's all on Paditech in a 1v3 post-plant scenario. It's not looking pretty. It's looking like the map 3 is calling. 42 HP in a bit of a dream, but he's already revealed. He's already been marked. He's going to take Ambi with him. There's only so much one man can do. Yuri is there. Kase gonna pick up XL's map choice. Tom, this is, we're going the distance here. I didn't expect it after that first half. I didn't expect Wolfen to have that swing up in performance. That was huge. What an impactful game from him.
Yeah, I think he, 19 kills in the second half, but also just the team in general looked better. Like their setup executions, trading was effective. So maybe we're just looking at a team that really thrives on that attacker side. On the other side of things, I definitely want to see just that little bit more from Alive. Like I've heard so many good things. I've seen the stats at least, but fact is he wasn't quite there in this map, but luckily they won the first. There's still another one to go.
You're right. Icebox is on the horizon now. We get to actually see the entire map pool, which I think is fantastic. We get to know these players a little bit more. Imagine we didn't get to see that full look, and we wouldn't have seen maybe Wolfen on that side, or seen the depth of this team. If Kase keep warming up like this, and I don't know what Kase run on Icebox, I hope we get to see him back on the chamber though, Tom. That to me would be the ideal here.
Yeah.
I imagine a simple question though. Would you rather seeing XL also then lean back into those kind of newer age comps? How do you feel this one's going to go on Icebox?
I don't know. I feel like that a lot of the more standardized comps still work incredibly well on Icebox. I feel like I've been enjoying seeing a little bit of Fade. I think especially FPX have put that one on the map once again. But honestly, when it comes to Icebox, I still think you can run those like Sova KJ things. Like Fnatic have proven that many times before.
Well, that's something we'll be pretty much waiting to find out after the break. The desk will be joining you in just a moment's time. Do stay tuned.